My name is Derek Mon, and I'm a communicator.
I'm Jay Blackwood, and I'm a communicator.
My name's Eric Morales, and I'm the organizer.
Hi, my name is Harley Rodriguez, and I'm the filmer.
Hi, I'm Derek Kassar, and I'm the creative.
Hi, I'm Jesse Elias, and I got the leader of the group.
Okay, so first things first, just want to make sure you're okay being filmed today.
Yeah, not a problem.
Okay, so we're conducting research, just gathering people's opinions on the legalization of marijuana and what they think about the issue, any opinions or research that they might know about that could back them up.
Okay.
But with that being said, we just would like to know your personal stance on the matter.
I don't know. I think it should be legal. I mean, I'm older than you guys, and I smoked pot when I was younger, and it turned out fairly well, I guess you'd say. I think you'd say. I think it should be legalized. Maybe at a certain age, maybe 21, like liquor or something like that. But overall, I think it should be legalized.
So you're coming more from like a personal stance, saying, you know, I've done it in the past. It's not really been detrimental to my life. I've turned out okay, so.
That's
why
right.
not?
I don't think it leads to hardcore drugs or anything like some people say. If you're going to do drugs, you're going to do drugs. I don't think if you smoke pot, that's going to push you towards anything else. That's really about it.
So one thing that people who would be against legalization of marijuana would say is, with the legalization, you're right, you know, if you're going to do drugs, you're going to get a hold of them. But with the legalization, they say it could become more available to children who could possibly, you know, abuse them or become addicted. Do you see any backing to that?
Not really. Parents have alcohol in their house, liquor cabinets, and the kids maybe get into those or they don't get into those. So I don't really see where that's really a correlation for me. I just don't see where there's anything to do with that.
Even with possibilization of, or possibility of maybe people, once they get more, kids get more their hands on marijuana, they possibly lead to more weed DUIs or anything like that, just more danger on the road or anything like that.
Well, they're going to have the same laws as you have with alcohol. You can't get high or get drunk and drive. You can't be high and drive, and even, you know, not for children necessarily, but even in the workplace, you can't go to work high. You know, the insurance companies, whoever's insuring the people there, not going to like that so much. You can't go to work drunk. You can't go to work high. I don't know. It's the same thing as alcohol to me. I don't see any difference with it.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Yep, no
Thank you
problem.
so much. I really appreciate it.
So today we're conduct some research on the legalization of marijuana and people's opinions about it. We're here with Emily, and she just is going to help us out today. So Emily, are you okay with being filmed?
Awesome. So with that being said, we'd just like to know your personal stance on the legalization of marijuana.
Okay. My personal stance is I'm in support of it. I think that would generate a lot of money for California specifically. I think there are some problems that come with it. Colorado said, I don't know if it's true, I don't know what websites teachers are getting it from, but I've heard a lot of teachers saying, oh, well, there's more traffic accidents, there's more violations, blah, blah.
Like weed DUIs and things like that.
Yeah, DUIs and stuff like that. I don't know how I feel about weed DUI being the same as alcohol, but I do think that it could impair drivers. But overall, I'm in support of it.
What about the possibility of, you know, younger kids, once they get a hold of it, possibly getting addicted or maybe leading it to a gateway
They're
drug or
gonna
something like
do it anyway.
There you go.
They're gonna do it illegally anyway, and I don't think it's addictive. I think that in moderation, it can be good for you. Can use for medical purposes, but even as recreational, I don't think it's addictive.
So you sound like you're fairly researched just in the ways marijuana has already been legalized and the effects it's had. Have you heard any of the research stating that it could be detrimental to like your mental health?
Yeah, memory loss, loss of just brain cells, sugar lose anyway.
Yeah.
But definitely memory loss, and that's something that I think people should know is, you know, if you're gonna drink alcohol, you're gonna kill your liver. If you're gonna smoke weed, you're gonna be not there a little bit. So I think if people know the negative consequences and are educated, do what you're gonna do. People smoke cigarettes anyway, and that kills them.
So even knowing all the detrimental effects, you still think that it should be something that should be legal and for recreational use?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Welcome.
All right, we're here with Nicholas here, and we were just going to ask if Nicholas, if you're okay with being on camera.
Sure.
Awesome. We're just gonna we've been asking people just their thoughts and opinions on the legalization of marijuana. With that being said, we'd just like to know a little bit of your personal judgment on that matter.
All right. Do you have any questions? Or?
No, just your personal
Well, just
stance
what
on
are your thoughts? Where do you stand on the issue?
I don't know. I think it'd be hard to go through school with everyone on marijuana. Maybe keeping it illegal might help as I go through college.
Gotcha. So you're saying, more keep it illegal because it could be distracting, could, tempt people away from academic purposes?
Yeah.
Okay, so that could be one stance. Have you heard any of the research that states that marijuana is good for medicinal use and could help cure illnesses? There's many research on people who have cancer, using cannabis as a way to kind of help cope with their chemotherapy.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that issue, that could be a personal, a beneficial way to use it after it's legalized?
Yeah. People that need it, I think, are already getting it through doctors and everything. And the people that don't need it.
Well, that's through the medicinal legalization. It's
Yeah.
legalized for medicinal uses. We're talking either completely illegal or, for recreational medical use.
Oh, completely.
Yeah.
for everyone.
Making it even more illegal than it is now.
Yeah. So basically, would you want more recreational use, or would you want complete illegalization?
I guess like most people, I like stand on the in between. I guess recreational in the designated areas is probably fine, and then like the current system with doctors, people that need it, like I said, are already getting it. But I guess having it let it be a little more legal, but in certain areas.
So you're saying kind of let it be legal for people who need it.
Yeah, and maybe recreational in designated areas.
Yeah. Awesome.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Yep.
as long as it's not everywhere.
Yeah. No problem. Thank you.
Alright.
Hi, so we're here with Delaney, and we're going to be questioning her about the legalization of marijuana. First things first, Delaney, just want to make sure you're okay being filmed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome. With that being said, we'd just like to know your personal stance on the legalization of marijuana.
I'd support it, and I think it'd be like kind of good for the economy, like to tax it like how they do with alcohol and stuff. But yeah. I
Cool.
think that's it.
Have you heard any of the evidence against marijuana stating that it could be a gateway drug, or it could get kids into different sort of more intense drugs?
I've heard about it, but I haven't like looked into like actual numbers or research or anything.
Okay. So if you maybe were thinking that the legalization of marijuana could increase the amount of kids that have access to that drug just as alcohol is today, would that possibly change your mind and into thinking the other direction?
I mean, if you really want it, you can get it anywhere, to be honest. So, I mean, I think just legalization would, like, you could set up laws and, like, kind of ensure it'd be safer use so that kids aren't getting it the way they are, like, on the streets or whatever. But even with legalization, like, underage kids are going to get it, like, people who aren't supposed to get it are going to get it.
So you're saying whether it's legal or not,
if you really,
there's ways to get a hold of it?
Yeah, if you really want it, you can get it.
What about the possible risk of like addiction for those kids that do obtain it?
I mean, addiction's possible with anything, but if it's legal, I think kids would be more willing to like go get help, and like programs would be created to help, like get like people who are addicted to help some of them, I guess. I don't know.
Cool. All right. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
So first things first, are you okay being filmed?
Yeah, I'm totally fine.
Okay, cool. So we're just conducting some research today, getting people's opinions on their legalization of marijuana. So we just wanted to see, what your thoughts were on the subject.
I thought it'd be pretty cool. I mean, I'm a supporter of marijuana myself. I mean, I guess it's all right now that we need a rec, but I mean, I feel like it'll be taxed a lot once it's legalized. So I can kind of feel like it shouldn't be legalized. You know what I'm saying? So like, I don't know. I mean, I guess it'd be cool.
Do you think? Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. Do you think the legalization could kind of increase the chances that children get a hold of the drug and it could possibly harm them?
Yeah, possibly. Honestly, it'll probably increase the chance of kids.
with that being said, with children able to get a hold of it more, there's some possible detrimental health effects. Would that be something that could sway you from wanting to legalize it?
Yeah, I guess, because it's the children, so I guess you could say it that way. So yeah.
You have anything to add?
I mean, even like just like he said, detrimental health effects. I mean, a lot of kids at younger times. I mean, just like alcohol use, it's kind of hard to control it when you first get your hands on it. So could lead to maybe other drugs or possibly addiction to it
Because it is a
themselves.
gateway drug, I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
people say it leads to very much, so.
yeah. It's crazy.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, that's all we need.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right, so we're here with Jenna, right? Awesome. And we just would like to get your consent on video now, just to make sure you're okay with
It's all good.
with film. Awesome. So with that being said, we are just going around and asking people their stance on the legalization of marijuana. We'd just like to know your personal thought on that matter.
Yeah, I'd say that legalization is okay. At this point, I think like research on the drug is pretty sufficient enough to prove it's not dangerous. But I guess there is, the added fear of like, like driving under the influence on marijuana, because that could just add to DUIs and things like that.
So there's a lot of research on both sides of the matter. That's why it's so controversial. But some of the things that we found in particular when we were conducting our research was that marijuana is very notorious for being a gateway drug. So with the legalization, it could become more available to kids, and
Possibly lead to addiction as well.
yes, when kids get hold on the drug, it can be very detrimental to their health and can lead to addiction as well. So what are your thoughts on the possibility of it being a gateway drug and leading to more intense things?
Yeah, I do agree that if you are doing more intense drugs, there's a very good chance that you started with marijuana. But if you are just smoking marijuana, there's also a very good chance that you're not going to go to those intense drugs. But I do think that marijuana is a gateway drug. And you said something else?
Yeah, we were just saying with the legalization, it's more readily available to children. What are your do you think that might be a possible way to not legalize it?
No, because it's readily to children either way.
Yeah.
Just as much as alcohol or cigarettes. So
Even like in the matter that when kids first turn 21, they sometimes go a little crazy, a little haywire with the possession of alcohol. So you think that could possibly have the same effect if marijuana was legalized as well?
no, because I think most kids go crazy with alcohol when they're like 16. But
So you're saying regardless if it's legal or not, people can get a hold of it?
yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Because that's just the same with other things.
Perfect, thank you.
All right.
Thanks so much.
Great.
So starting off after the interviews, who do you guys think was the best critical thinker that we interviewed?
I think it would have to be like a tie between like the older guy that we interviewed and like, the girl at Fountain Hall. Yeah. Or the girl at Fountain Hall.
The girl with
that
the
was,
pink shirt.
Oh, the girl
yeah.
found
Yeah, yeah. The girl with the pink
Her
shirt.
name Emily, or I don't know. Forgot.
Yeah, I think it was like Emily.
So she was the one we interviewed in front of Fountain Hall. Some things that I noticed is right off the bat she started stating some actual physical evidence. Like she stated evidence of what had happened in Colorado before with the legalization and kind of tried to apply that here.
She like combined like her like evidence with like just like basic information, I feel.
Yeah, also some good traits that I thought the older man had was that he really listened to our points that we made back to him. I was watching his facial expressions and he was listening to our questions thoroughly and he gave nice, clear counter statements rather than just dismissing our questions, which I thought was good. What are some other good traits that you guys noticed?
With the girl, I like noticed that like sort of like the older man, like she kind of like listened to the questions too and responded, but like she also like would like really like explain her answers like in depth too. Like she would like say like she would bring up evidence and then she would like explain like why like that like was important with like I don't know, just like her stance. So I mean like she just didn't just like, oh yeah, like this is what this means, like this is it, like this evidence is this, she like explained why like it was important. So I felt like that was pretty big critical thinking wise.
Yeah, I noticed both of them when we gave them opposing views or opposing opposing issue. then they would think of alternatives to how to handle with the issue or something like that. So I kind of liked that they, you know, put it towards good use or kind of like, I don't know, thought of an alternative basically. That
Who
was
do you
really
guys think
good.
would be like the least critical thinker?
I think
Or
we can
least-
all
the least
agree.
amount of critical
Well,
thinkers?
we all did the evaluations, and I think the least or the worst critical thinker would be the guy in the button up. I don't exactly remember his name.
On the bench.
Nicholas.
Nicholas. Yeah. So I think he was probably the worst critical thinker because he didn't really have any tangible evidence. Most of the things that he was basing his judgments on were I feel like or I think,
Yeah.
rather than anything that he really said that he knew. You know, he didn't. One of our questions on our evaluation was, are they honest with what they know, or do not know? Are they giving cop-out answers? And for Nicholas, I gave him a 3 out of 10. So, I mean, he was kind of just following us with the conversation. If that makes sense, he would just follow our points.
Yeah, not to mention he swayed his answer like toward the end. Like we just kept on like giving him just like other sides, or evidence of like other sides of the argument. He would just be like, "Oh yeah, like I guess you're right," you know, just like totally. He wasn't really confident with what his answers were.
So Jesse, you were doing some of the observations when we were interviewing the older gentleman. What are some things that you noticed that he did well? during
Well,
the
I feel
interview?
like he also spoke from a personal like experience with marijuana and all that stuff, and he made good points like about that. He speaking from what he's experienced, that how he felt about it, and he really thought about it. Like he listened to us.
Yeah, I put that as kind of a bias in mind that these people could have a bias if they've used it before.
Yeah.
Did you guys notice any other biases?
Well, like the fact that like we all like live in this area, I feel like is like a pretty big
Yeah,
like
that's
a
what I
really
put
big deal.
down for the girl who was saying that it should be legalized. I feel like although that she was for it and maybe she hasn't experienced it, she didn't mention whether she had experience with it personally or not, but I think just because she was born in this generation and this cohort, she's kind of, biased about that because a lot of people in this generation seem to be more open-minded about topics like that, I feel like.
Yeah.
So I feel like that was definitely a bias, even though she didn't admit it or not. So.
Not one of the people that I think we evaluated, but we interviewed was the girl that you were talking about with the glasses, and she was like walking away. She's like, "This is like Southern California or something. Like most people are like gonna be okay with it,
Yeah.
So it's like, she's right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just with the new generation and everything nowadays, it's like not enough people like really like are like against it.
Yeah.
They're just like whatever about it. So
Yeah, so I mean, for this study, I think the important thing is that really does kind of put a bias on people. They're going to answer a certain way because of that.
yeah, I mean, besides those girls, I thought the guy that we interviewed too with like the flowers on his shirt was
The guy who
Nicholas.
got swayed.
Yeah, he was swayed too. Like, he just totally like came out like, "Oh yeah, like it's not very good," like blah blah blah. And then we like just went up with evidence against him too, and he was just like, "Oh yeah, I guess like it'll be okay." Like in certain cases, like you just tell that he was like not very confident, and that was like one of our evaluation things. Like he wasn't really confident with it. In my opinion, he kind of seemed a little threatened by it too. Like we were asking him, he kind of seemed like a little shy. I don't know though. I mean,
Whenever we bring up a counterpoint, he would just
kind of agree with
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh well, I guess you're right." Like, okay,
yeah.
so
His body language was definitely
Easily persuaded.
so being easily persuaded is definitely something that's not very good.
Ultimately, though, like what I feel like the biggest thing between like the older gentleman and like the lady that we interviewed, Emily, at Fountain Hall, like the traits that they like all showed in common were like either relying on like personal experiences, which is like you can't like really doubt, like you have to use it like it's kind of like a truth, and the idea of like evidence, like using evidence, like those are like a really big things, like the ability to listen like fully to what we're asking them and like respond, in a clear manner is like pretty big, and there's critical thinking wise. So
I think the lady in Fountain Hall was a better critical thinker than the old
The older
man
man.
because she didn't really use any personal biases.
Yeah.
It was straight factual information.
Yeah, I gave them pretty similar ratings, just because even though they did come from different aspects, they still gave good arguments and listened to our points, and I think that showed really good critical thinking skills.
I think I ended up giving the younger lady the more beneficial points because, like she mentioned, I just feel like she answered more thoroughly, and she was just more. She admitted to not knowing a lot of things. She was like, I'm not sure if this is true. This is what I've heard, but and then like she also stated a lot of points. And
That's
really
actually a really
points.
good point.
Yeah. I don't know.
Because like if you're not honest with what you don't know, like you're just spewing basically. You know, you're just like just listing things that like are just up in the air. You know,
Yeah.
so that like how does that show critical thinking skills? So yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Cool. Does anyone else have any other points that they want to throw out there? Anything that they noticed?
I think we've hit the main points. We're
Yeah.
learning what we feel
Mhm.
and why we make why they think they're good critical thinkers, basically.
Perfect. All right. We're all set.
Okay.
Take that pause.